good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast.
Episode 24, baby, right?
24. That's on my birthday, the 24th. Big day.
24 what?
December
Christmas
24th. Eve, baby.
Oh, okay. I think I'll probably be in the house. Are you doing anything special?
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, always.
Oh, man, that should give me the bubble guts.
Some things are worth the bubble guts, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but Arnold, we're making moves, man. And like I said, this is like therapy for me. I'm so happy to do another episode, man. Share our stories, share our next guest story. But before that, look, I got my Romy Roams.
That's right.
I gotta represent. Mm-hmm. I gotta represent. Romy Roams at our podcast. Definitely, let's pay the bills now.
Oh, yeah, man.
Let's pay the bills now, right?
Because we forgot last time, shoot. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching us visually. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating if you enjoy what you hear. And write us a review so we can know what we can do better. And, we have had so many incredible guests on our show. You know, like, I'm always excited for all of them. They've all been great. But sometimes you have guests that's bigger than wrestling.
Yeah.
And I feel like today's guest that's the case for today.
He's big physically.
Yeah.
6'4", 300 pounds, Mike Parrow. Mm-hmm. He's a stud.
Yeah.
And he's part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the LGBTQ family.
That's right, man.
You know what I mean? He's a stud. I thought my first experience meeting him was at StarCast recently, but he'll tell, I guess, a funny story of our experience in WWE. And I always get nervous because you know me, Arnold, I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone saying, oh, this guy was an asshole or this guy did that. I don't want to ever have that reputation. I don't have that reputation with WWE. When I first started, I was a little bit of a hothead. When guys didn't have clean gear when we're practicing. Yeah. It's just wrestling 101. You got to have clean gear. So I would just rough you up in the ring, not make you bloody. Maybe pop an eardrum. I did do that. Mm-hmm. I did do that. It's not a cakewalk with me. But, you got to have clean gear. So it's just, wrestling 101. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I hear you. You wouldn't want to wrestle Razor Ramon back in the day, though, because he didn't have clean gear at all.
Oh, he didn't wash his gear?
No, I remember Kevin Nash would get so annoyed by him. Like, he'll take off all his gear out of his duffel bag, and it's like, damn, man, that's like wash your gears.
That's like Titus. He won't admit to that, but he don't like washing his gear.
Man, that's gross, dude.
It's rare. Yeah, this is real exciting. He had me cracking up at StarCast. Like, we were talking in between our signings, and he just had me cracking up. And when he's talking, he's like this talking, and I'm like he's 6'4", and I'm following him, and he's just sharing stories, and I'm just laughing. And I know people are looking and watching, but I'm just cracking up. So I just asked him recently if he would want to share his story on Pro and Bro Wrestling.
And he has a great story, too.
Yeah, and we're going to hear it now, baby. So, it's time to go to work.
Let's do it, man.
Arnold, we got the one-man demolition in the house. He's a part of the family, like I said, the LGBTQ family, and he's a stud. 6'4", 300 pounds. I said to myself, I thought it was the first time I met you at StarCast, but I had met you at WWE, and Arnold would definitely want to hear our experience as to how we met. And you had me laughing nonstop at StarCast. We have Mike Parrow in the house. Thank you for being on Pro and Bro Wrestling and sharing your story, bro.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Mike, I'm curious, man. So what's the story? How did you meet Fred? What was the whole incident?
Well, actually, Fred doesn't really remember meeting me, but I remember meeting him. Okay. Because I actually wasn't out of the closet yet, but I was starting to come out to my group of friends as wrestlers. Okay. I was starting the process of coming out. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of like an idol of mine because he's the first guy that was really like, hey, I'm gay. Yeah. And I'm a wrestler. Yeah. So and he was the first non-feminine they didn't try to stereotype him right away. Sure. Be like, well, we need you to do this and this and this. So I kind of looked up to him because that's my main. When I came out, that was my main thing. I don't want to be a stereotype. Yeah. I wanted to be a pro wrestler and also be a gay man. Mm-hmm. And it was important. So I remember being like, should I tell him? Thinking in my head, I was like, but he was actually just coming back from injury, and I was doing extra work, and I was in they're called the Rosebuds. You know,
oh, of course, yeah, of course. You're one of the Rosebuds. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, which was funny because they didn't want me to be a Rosebud because I was too big.
That's not. I don't think that's fair, man. Because Braun Strowman became a Rosebud at one point.
Yeah, and then they took him right out of being a Rosebud. Because they didn't even put me in a costume. They put me in a suit. They're like, you can wear your suit out there.
Oh, wow.
I was like, isn't that going to make me stand out a little more? But I was like, all right. And they're like, we need you to bump and feed. And I was like, okay. They're like, and then they looked at me like, no, just throw him over the top rope. So my first experience with Fred is he tossed me out of the ring. And I took a hell of a bump to the floor, even though he doesn't remember it.
Right.
But I took a hell of a bump.
Wow, that's so fun, man.
Nobody was watching my bump, but I was pretty damn proud of my bump.
I'm sure it was a good bump. I have to look for that footage now. That's really cool.
It was funny because in the same Rosebuds was Mia Yim and Leva Bates and there was a whole bunch of us that are all in WWE now. So it's kind of funny. It's like all those Rosebuds turned out to be part of WWE somehow in the future. All except me.
No, that's not true. I think it's always fascinating to me how all these WWE extras become superstars. You know, with or should I say Robert Roode now. He was in WWE back in the day. There's a footage of him. I think he was a cop or something, and that's before he was even in TNA. And even we all know the CM Punk as being part of John Cena's entrance, and they just become bigger stars. And I think it's really cool how these extras just break out, and you get to look back. And I'm sure down the line we're gonna look back at your footage and be like, damn, he was a Rosebud. You know, that's a really cool story.
I was also in Aces and Eights, the whole storyline.
Oh, TNA. Oh, wow, nice. Yeah. That was a good faction, man. I thought that was such a cool name, and I love when they had D'Lo Brown in there. That was so dope.
Yeah, D'Lo was the agent for all of it. D'Lo actually taught me how to throw an elbow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, on one of my best wrestling friends. Almost knocked him out numerous times. I just kept nailing him. And D'Lo was like, again.
That's so funny, man.
Well, Mike, you originally started, when did you start? Where did you start?
When did I start wrestling?
Sure.
I started in 2009. I'm one of those guys that likes to research things. I played college football at Coastal Carolina, and then after college, I was like every college student, don't really know what they're going to do with the rest of their lives. And my buddy was playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs at the time, Tyler Thigpen, and he had come back to visit, and he's like, hey, bro, you made me watch all that wrestling. Why don't you do pro wrestling? And I was like, well, I didn't get a degree to be a pro wrestler. And he was like, well, I didn't get a degree to be a quarterback either, but this seems to be doing well for me. And I was like, well, you're right. So I researched it, and I found the Dudley Boyz school here in Orlando. And that's where I started the longest journey of my life. We go into a plan when we go to college. You're supposed to go to college.
Yeah.
The heteronormative. You're supposed to get married. You're supposed to have 2.5 kids.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, your life is planned for you, and if you stray from that path, you're the weird one.
Exactly.
And the moment I did is I shocked a lot of people. But it was funny is because I take after my mom in the way of my mom's try it, do it, take an adventure.
Yeah.
And my dad is very structured. He's a retired police officer now. He's like my sister. They're very cut dry to the point. Me and my brother and my mom are very let's do it. Let's see. We fail. We fall on our face. We're gonna get back up. And they're more well, no, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this.
Yeah.
Even now, my sister called me yesterday. She's like, do you know about your wedding? And I'm like, yes, it's mine.
That's awesome.
She's always like, well, you need to have this certain structure. I go, do I?
No, I don't.
but that's just who they are.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but also I'm happier that now than I was if I had gone down the law school path.
Yeah. And you know, speaking of your wedding, congrats on your engagement, by the way. How long have you guys been engaged?
Well, we've been engaged for 2 years. It's funny how that happened. So I told him when we first started dating that if we made it to when he was 25 years old, I would ask him to marry me. Okay. Thinking we'd never make it past 6 weeks, let alone till he was 25. Yeah. I met him when he just left the Navy at 21. Okay. And he had just turned 21. And I actually I was still in the closet when I met him. And when I first met him, I told him I was never coming out of the closet. You'll never meet any of my friends, and you can only come over at 2 a.m. Wow. And it's funny, I always ask him why he stayed with me, and he goes, because I only wanted you. I don't care about anything else. Wow, that's love. So you know, he took a chance on me, especially when all his friends were like, he's a closet case, don't go near him, he's insane. Yeah. And you know, because in the gay world, it's very easy with all the apps and all that to find the next right away. Like you're on the date, like at the date bus or something like that, or a TV show. Like the next. That's what it's called.
Oh, I remember that show. Oh my god, it makes me cringe so bad.
So I met him and he stayed with me and he stayed with all my craziness. Like he never pressured me to come out. He never said that I had to. He said everything like comes in time. Before him, I had never been to a gay bar. Like, wow. I would have massive panic attacks. Wow. Like, I would try to go to a gay bar and I would sit outside and I go, I can't go in. Because in my head, I would think like, oh my God, everybody's going to take a picture of me and it's going to be all over everywhere. And I'm like, nobody knows who I am or cares. Like, they're probably like, what is the weirdo doing sitting out in front of the gay bar?
Mike, let me just say, man, I'm just over here dying laughing because when I recently seen you again at StarCast, I was telling Arnold, this guy Parrow had me cracking up. He's going back and forth. You know, we were talking about it. I was like, man, you're cracking me up. You keep swaying back and forth, and you're like, oh, that's just that football mentality. And you had me dying laughing. Fast forward to like your before you came out, were you one of those guys, because I'm guilty of it, were you one of those guys that would be in the locker room and if someone would use not so kind words, would you kind of go along with it, or would you kind of be like, oh, that's gay, or like be one of those guys? Because I was.
So I've actually talked with Eddie Kingston, because words like gay or fag, I didn't realize were hurtful, because I came up in a football locker room where it was just tossed around. And until I met Morgan, I didn't understand that. I had been using those words and not understanding what they meant to other people. Because when you come up into like a sports locker room, those words are tossed around very, very liberally. And I've been guilty of using it, because I was raised like my father always told me, like, if people say names, they're not going to hurt you. They didn't physically hurt you. Like, it's like the sticks and stones might break my bones, but names are never going to hurt me, sort of thing. Yeah. And I was always raised, because in the sports world, it's very alpha male dominated, and you know, you either go with the pack or you don't. And I'm truly guilty of it, and I don't hide that I'm guilty of it. Yes. You know, because I did say it, and I have been insensitive to a lot of LGBT needs. Yes. Like, because I didn't understand. But that's one thing I talk about, is straight people are not necessarily hateful. They also don't understand. Nobody's ever taken time to explain to them, because sex ed is not taught in schools, and when it is taught in schools, definitely homosexuality is not taught. Right. So you know, you act like it's like it doesn't exist. So for them, they don't understand a lot of the stuff because they don't have the same feelings we do. So what I've learned, especially with my friends, is explaining it to them in terms they understand rather than throwing them and telling them they have to accept something. Because people don't like to be told what to do. So when you sit down, like, especially, I always give people chances. Like, so if a wrestler's like, oh, this dude's a fag or this dude's gay, I sit down and I explain to him. I'm like, okay, bro, this is why this is stupid and hurtful.
Right.
If I hear you use it again, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. This is your warning.
Exactly. But I also am a little bit different than everybody else. I am 6'4", 300 pounds. So it's a little bit different for me. I am not, like, as Fred can tell you, I'm not shy at all. You know, but not everybody's like that. And I say, especially, not everybody has to be a bastion of carrying the flag for our community in wrestling. Some just need to be wrestlers.
Yes.
You know? Like me and Effie talked about Jake. We're so proud of Jake because Jake doesn't need to be a spokesmodel. Jake needs to be a wrestler because that's what Jake is. And people, me and Effie can talk and be outspoken. Because we've already been told no numerous times by WWE, TNA, all these companies have told us no that they're never hiring us. So now we can just speak our mind. I'm like, so it's one of those things is like we have the opportunity now to explain why things are different and why they need to be different going forward.
Parrow, there's no doubt in my mind that you would be running through people if you ever got brought up to NXT and then go through the system and then get brought up to WWE. There's no doubt in my mind, man. And I've seen your stuff because, you know, I have a lot of time to see what's out there. And there's no doubt in my mind that you could definitely succeed if the machine gets behind you, if the machine gets pushed behind you. Because I always say that our careers in WWE or anywhere are controlled by a pencil. They can pencil you in or pencil you out. But for me telling you, there's no doubt in my mind that you would wreck house in WWE in such a positive way.
Oh, we already know that they watch our stuff because it shows up on their programming.
Especially
and you know, it's like when they say like wrestlers steal. We all steal our stuff from one another. So I never get mad at that. It just makes me happy that they're at least watching. So and for me, it's like I always joke because, as you know, wrestling is a very, like you said, a pencil-oriented business. It's who takes interest in you and what day. You know, one day it can be toast, one day it can be dry bread. You know, it's like they it's whatever they want during that day. So I never get upset by being told no. I just find it's a new opportunity to find a new way in.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like I said, vibing with you now, vibing with you at StarCast, like... we're both opposites, man. Like, I'm like Jake, and when you bring up Jake, he's my crush. I want to marry him, man. I want to marry him. And when I say marry him, I say, man, I could work him on a tour 10 nights in a row, not get hurt, be able to tell a story. That's being married to someone in the ring. But also on the side...
He's amazing in the ring.
Yeah, so him and I are alike. Him and I are very quiet. You're very outspoken. That's why opposites attract. Like people repel. That's why you and I get along so well.
Yeah, it's just like we were talking. I've been talking with Sonny, you know, because Sonny right now is going to be like our Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Like first, like this is going to be like one of the when you were hired. You know, you came out during your job.
Yes.
I came out on the independents.
Yes.
Sonny's literally going in as an openly gay male.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, and it's like I've explained, I'm like, that also comes with, like, we had a panel for Rise, and Naya, we talked about this. We're used to people saying negative, mean stuff to us. It's our straight counterparts that are not used to the negativity that we get.
Yes.
People don't understand. We get this daily. We get told hateful things, direct messages, Twitter comments, like daily. So we're used to it. It's the company that's not used to it. So that's the experiment that we're talking about when we say it's like, I brought up about LGBT storylines. I'm like, it's very hard to have LGBT storylines when you only have one LGBTQ athlete.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, can't really do storylines with one. Because I got in a little Twitter debate with Lance Storm over it.
Oh.
He's like, well, you can't do it. And I was like, well, why can't you do it? He's like, well, because it will come off homophobic. I go, no, it won't. I go, it comes off homophobic when it's the only person on the roster. I go, but when you have multiple LGBTQ athletes, then you can do a storyline. And I'm not saying Lance is wrong, but those discussions actually have to be had now.
Yes.
Like, because that's what people don't understand. Me and Lance weren't being hateful to one another whatsoever.
Yes.
We have to have the discussion so people see the sides. Because when you don't have the discussion and you stay quiet, nothing changes.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
It's allowed to keep going. One of the things that, like, before my tryout and I'll tell you this, it affected me a lot, was when you came out, WWE said, well, we support him, but his character's not gay.
Yes.
They said that? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
And that bugged me. So that made me believe, as a gay man, that this could affect my career. And I'm like, now, I understand what they were trying to say, but at the same token, they don't know how that affected so many other athletes wanting to keep their mouths shut because it struck them as like, okay, well, wait, so why does a straight person get to show their relationship all the time? Like I didn't understand that. I was like, I'm like, you have Daniel Bryan in Hell No, then all of a sudden he has his own TV series. I'm like, that has nothing to do with his character.
Right.
And I'm like, so why can't Darren have a television show with his boyfriend at the time? Why are those things not able to happen to us, but it's okay for them? That was my question. So it's like, that, I know I've never told him that. I've never told you that. But that affected me. Like, so I waited till after my WWE tryout, a year later after doing the thing with, doing my extra work with you, to fully come out of the closet.
We need to take the mic from Mike because he's just telling the truth, man.
Yeah,
he's just telling the truth. You just say it so eloquently, big man. Don't let people get a mic in front of you.
It's the pipe bomb.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's not a pipe bomb. It's just reality.
Yeah, it's true.
I can only speak for me. And like when I came out, and I'd say this, Martin Stone's one of my good friends in wrestling. And when I was approached to do the interview for Gay Star magazine, first of all, I didn't know it was going to be such a big deal. I didn't know it was going to get 2 million reshares overnight.
Yes.
Like, I did not know. Like, I had gay friends calling me. They're like, dude, you're all over the computer. Yes. And I was like, what did I do? Did I murder somebody? I was like shocked. I was like, oh, great. What did I do? And Martin had told me, and he said this. I asked him, I go, should I do this interview? And he goes, you sit here and you told me that you had nobody to look up to growing up. I go, just be the athlete you needed to see. Don't be an athlete. You don't need to be for everybody in the LGBTQ community. You just need the ones that are like you to see you. There's other, like you said, being gay is a spectrum. It's just not one personality. We're just like straight people. We're just like our counterparts. It's just all our personalities are extremely different. Like, you're quiet. I'm not. So,
Mike, I say all the time, don't die with a story and you tell it. So moving forward, anytime, big or small, whatever platform gives you the opportunity and you can devote 30, 40 minutes of your time, man, it's going to be able to help someone. And whether it's in the ring or maybe on the big screen, whatever platform it is, you want people to look at you and identify with you and say to themselves, well, if Mike Parrow can do it, then so can I.
Well, no, you just saying those words, I'm gay.
Yes.
helped so many of us coming up in the business. Like, you might not know that it did, but it affected people like Effie, me, Jake, Sonny, Jamie, like everybody that's openly gay now started with one person saying, I'm gay. And so we talk about this all the time as a group, is like, visibility does matter. We need to be seen. Like, I understand that the major products are afraid, which is hilarious because they don't mind doing all these other crazy storylines, but to hire an LGBT athlete is like groundbreaking. It just, like, they have no problem people going through light tubes on television and be like, this is, but they're like, yeah, can't hire those gay people though. I'm like, that always blows my. But think about it. All these major companies, and this is a real pipe bomb. We're in 2019. Think of all these companies. WWE has one open athlete currently. Impact has one bisexual athlete who they kind of fell into. She was already on the show. So that wasn't them hiring her. So ROH has none. Impact has the one. AEW has two.
What about New Japan?
New Japan has no open athletes. All Japan has one. Me. But that's still, we're in 2019, and first of all, I'm not even saying hiring me, but there's a hell of talent out there. Jake could work for any company out there. Like, Jake literally is, like, we said this on stage the other day. I was like, he gets embarrassed when we put him over, but This is like, he's literally like a walking, like, perfect for WWE.
Yes.
He's like a walking baby face. Like, we could put him out right out. Like he's like banner waving. Like, let's put him out there. Like, and me and Effie are sitting there. Like, me and Effie were like, I get it.
Right.
Not me and Effie, we totally get it. It's like, I get it. Like, I'm afraid I'll say something very rude and obnoxious, but Jake's not going to do that. Look at him. It's like, so it's just one of those things. It's like, what's the excuse? But like, everybody always says, well, should they be hired because their sexuality? No, but that's also going on basis of wrestling is also hired by talent, and we know that's not true. So, like, wrestling is a casting call. It is not an overly talented, like, search for the greatest wrestlers in the world. Because there's so many great wrestlers on the independents that, like, just not based on sexuality at all.
Right.
That should be on a major product right now, that they're just so amazing to watch.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't use the basis of when people are always like, oh, well, they're just trying to get a job because they're gay. No, but we also don't want to hide that we're gay either.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to have to hide the fact that I'm married to a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why should I be afraid to post on social media because they don't want me to?
Right.
Like, that is what people don't understand our messages. It's not about, we don't, like, my character has nothing to do with me being gay whatsoever. I literally just beat the shit out of people.
Yeah, that's it. You're just being you.
And you'll be amazed how many promoters are like, well, maybe you have a crush on your tag partner.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not into that type of dude. Second of all, like, that's just fucking stupid. He's my brother.
Right.
So it's like, it's the weirdest thing. Where they're like, hey, why don't you, like, do a go behind and, grind up on him? I go, or he goes behind you and you grind your ass on him. I go, well, first of all, I'm a top, so that's not going to happen. Second of all, like, I don't understand, like, where this is coming from. I don't even lock up, so.
They're thinking they're thinking 1996 Goldust storylines. That's like just so way outdated.
1996 Goldust is booking shows.
Yeah.
That era of guys are the guys booking shows. So it's not the boys in the back. It is the people running the shows. Their mentality, like I was told that I need to be more sympathetic at one show. Listen, my own parents don't feel bad for me.
Sympathetic? What does that mean? Sympathetic? What do you mean?
They're like, well, we want to make you a baby face, so we're going to have people attack you. I'm like,
come on.
Well, I'm bigger. Well, here's the other problem. I'm bigger than 90% of your roster. What are you going to have? The entire roster? Like, what are you going to set me on fire? I don't understand your thought process. It's just because they don't, their mentality of booking. And I said, not all gay people have to be the good guy either.
Right.
I was like, that's it. And me and Effie were joking. During Pride Month is the worst month to be an open athlete. You never win. Ever. like at all. They're like, all right, guys, we're going to throw a curveball at them because we're not going to give them what they want. I was like, all right.
Oh, man.
Parrow, you were one guy, I would not lock up with. I would try to somehow get you close to the ropes and just like tie you up. I'm treating it like it's real to me. I'm not going to lock up with you. I'm going to try to somehow get... What's that?
You need to treat it like it's real.
Yeah.
We are going to hit you. We tell people.
Yes.
Hey, me and my partner are... If you watch our stuff, we're extremely physical. We're very much a modern day LOD that's more athletic.
Yeah, hit hard in safe places. I want to explain to Arnold.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hit hard in safe places. That's how we, that's how we do it. We make it look as real as possible.
Well, you work at you see my style in All Japan. You know All Japan's King's Road style.
Yes.
That's the style that we work.
Yes.
It's a very, very physical style.
Yes.
You are gonna get lumped up. Like you're gonna feel it. I left my last tour in Japan with a torn pec and a torn bicep.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
That was me throwing a clothesline.
Jeez.
Yes, I remember you telling me that. Yes.
He's a big boy. Had to get him down. He went down. He went down. But what we do hurts. Like I took a sky high to the floor through chairs this weekend.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hey Mike, I know wrestling wasn't your original plan, but growing up, were you a wrestling fan? Did you watch wrestling at all?
So I was I used to start the first wrestling thing I ever went to. My dad brought me to the Royal Rumble in Albany, New York.
Sweet.
And I don't really remember it because I was very young. Mm-hmm. I remember I remember Ric Flair winning it, and I remember but I was young.
Yeah, that's the time he became the WWE champion for winning the Royal Rumble.
So like I the Mountie was wrestling Roddy Piper. I remember that, but I was like really young, and so I went through a whole period where I didn't watch, and then in high school was the Monday Night Wars for me. So that's when it got me really into it. And I had this friend named Tamara, super hot girl that was like dig wrestling, and I love Mick Foley and she loved The Undertaker, and so we would go to every event. We'd be those people to wait out we waited out in front of FYE to get tickets, to try to get the front row tickets. Like we'd wait overnight.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like a huge fan. But I got to, if you watch the Stone Cold Beer Truck, I'm in the front row.
No way! That's amazing.
I'm right on the entrance ramp, right next to the beer truck.
Oh my god.
I'm also the the second DX formed with Billy Gunn. I'm on the front row as well.
Oh man. You were there for the big moments.
I was also there for The Rock's first eyebrow.
Stop, dude. How did you get so lucky? What the heck?
Because Albany, New York used to be like in the Attitude Era was like the hub of like cool stuff happening.
Wow.
Because they'd always do the Madison Square Garden show, and then the following night would be the pay-per-view would be Madison Square Garden, and the following night would be Monday Night Raw in Albany. Every time. It was part of their loop. So they always followed a pay-per-view after Madison Square Garden, which usually was either like a huge pay-per-view because it was Madison Square Garden, So I always lucked out because Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown would be like in like New Jersey, and so like SmackDown always like in high school was okay, except I did. Albany did have a SmackDown. I remember it was Buried Alive, and it was the Big Show versus Mick Foley for Buried Alive for a SmackDown match.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I was a huge Mick Foley fan.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I pop.
Well, he must be known as the nicest wrestler in the business.
Oh, yeah. Like, he watched my documentary and I almost died.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I was like, well, my wrestling career's over.
I can retire now. It's fine.
I'm done.
Bro, he's a big supporter of the Block the Hate movement. He's a big supporter of all of us. You know what I mean? He actually sat in on the panel that I was a part of, and I was blown away. You know, I've done stuff with him backstage with WWE, but for him to be sitting at StarCast just by himself, listening to the panel, man, it meant a lot. You know, it really meant a lot.
But it's stuff like that. It's like guys like that really show you that wrestling isn't all bad.
Yeah.
Not everybody's an evil villain.
Right.
You know, there is some good guys in the business.
And Parrow, and for me, Parrow, guys like him, guys like Randy Orton, Big Show, Mark Henry, Titus, Sheamus, they made it easier for me to walk into a WWE locker room. And now I never say the negative stuff, like, I just don't need to, you know, we have our favorites and not so favorites. I just leave it at that. But those were guys that made it a lot easier for me. Bray Wyatt, when I came back from my elbow, he tackled me. Like, when he seen me in the locker room, he tackled me over and was like on top of me, giving me the biggest hug possible because he hadn't seen me since my elbow injury. So it's guys like that don't give a fuck, and they make it a lot easier for me in a WWE locker room.
Yeah, but Bray, when he was training to go back to do the new Fiend gimmick, and he came up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I haven't talked to you in a while. I just wanted to say, you know, that's some powerful stuff. Your documentary." I'm like, "You watched it?" He's like, "Yeah. Why wouldn't I watch it?" And I was just like blown away that like
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, he took the time to like talk about it, and he's like, your All Japan stuff's like really good, and I was like, thank you. And I was like, because I only talked to him in passing, but he was from day one when I did my stuff with you. His conversation with me was about my beard care. And that was our first ever conversation, and then since then he was always been a cool dude. And I get it, like I don't really like to do the negative stuff either, but it's gonna happen, and there's people that what my tag partner likes to call the new quiet homophobia.
Yeah.
Where dudes are actively working against you and you know it, but it's like, come on, bro, like you don't need to do it. I get it. You don't want. I'm like, but I can physically kill you. So
yes,
yeah.
And that's what scares a lot of guys is the fact that like I get tested a lot. But that's because of my physical nature anyways. Right. And me and my tag partner are big. So we already have that working against us because the wrestling business right now is a little man's game.
Yeah.
You know, the more athletic high flyers, you know, the classic big men like we are, it's a little bit more difficult because the littler guys have chips on their shoulders because they are littler, and I get that.
Yeah.
So we're already working an uphill battle at the fact that I'm gay.
Yeah.
it's not always like, but it's funny. It's like the more homophobia for me I get is more in the north than I do in the south.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When it comes to the homophobia.
Yeah.
But I think because the South has come up with people like me and Effie and all that. So they have this, like, we travel together. So they know, like, all these misconceptions, like, the misconceptions, like I love straight people's misconceptions that, like, hey, if you have a gay guy, they're going to hit on you. I'm like, I'm like, you think you look that good? You think you look that good? I was like, bro, you need like six months in the gym.
How cocky is that, man?
Well, but that's the mentality that some dudes have. Is like,
it's funny.
like, yeah, bro. I'm like, have you seen my dude?
You're like, I'm not looking at other dudes, man. Have you seen my husband or fiance?
I'm like, but it's just funny. It's because those mentalities still exist.
Yeah.
Change is slow. Like, look, we just got an African American champion in 2019.
Right. Yeah, I know.
It's like an actual and everybody's gonna scream, well, The Rock was champion and Booker T was champion. I was like, okay, well, WCW was going out of business.
Right.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I was like, and they really didn't think they were going anywhere, so they're like, we'll just put it on the guy. Nobody wanted it.
Bingo. Bingo. Tell it, big man.
Like, so Kofi, like, the reaction to Kofi, and this is what I say, I go, people still with wrestling identify with people.
Yeah.
So many people had tears in their eyes when Kofi won.
Yes.
My friends alone, just looking over at like Cedric and Big Swole
yes.
and Strickland, and just tears in their eyes, and I was like, wow. I'm like, he's like, we're just so happy. I was like, why? Because we now know we can do it.
Yeah. And there's also veterans out there. There's like a footage of like MVP and Chad from Crime Time that's like watching this live, and they're both crying and they gave each other a hug. I think they were like at a bar or something, and they just like had that moment. It's like
well, we had saw him the night before at Wale Mania, and like the energy that was in that building for them was unreal.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I'm like, wow. If WWE doesn't pull the trigger, I'm gonna be shocked.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Because I could feel the energy off the people that they wanted change, that they wanted it, like so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, and fans don't understand. They do have the power to control what happens. It's just like if you're not watching, they're not gonna do something.
Yeah.
Like, this is at the end of the day, this is a sports entertainment programming.
Yeah.
They need your viewership. So they're gonna do things that get your views.
Yeah.
Mike, you talked about resistance, and I mean resistance in a way like, someone might not want to, because you're gay, they don't want to lose to you. I know, I felt like I experienced that at times with WWE. You said you kind of experienced that, throughout your career. I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. The past 2 years since I came out, it's been crazy. It's just like people like, and it's funny is because they won't tell you that they're doing it. Yeah. Like, you'll have to find out through other ways, and I'm not gonna name names.
Yeah,
sure.
For like. I don't. My job is never to take somebody else's career away from them.
Exactly.
It's not my job to do that. But they know who they are. What I'm talking about too.
Right.
Like, they know who they are, and everything comes around in time. This business has a way of always making things right. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but the guy that you shit on years ago ends up having a position in power. And then what?
Yeah.
So that's what I always learned. I'm like, there's no need to do that, but just know I remember. I take a mental note, and I remember who you are. But it's also changing too, because they've done it to other people, and people are starting to take notice. And it gets around, because this business is very big and very small at the same time.
Parrow, I'm going to say the same thing about Titus O'Neil, because he also started in 2009. I got signed with WWE May 4th, 2009. He got signed a couple months after, maybe July, August of 2009, and he was fresh off the football field, and no one wanted to get in the ring with him. No one wanted to train with him. So I was the first one there and the last one there at FCW in Tampa, Florida, working with him. And Titus was frustrated, and he was like, oh, man, no one wants to work with me. I said, Titus, years from now, the same people that are shitting on you are going to be kissing your ass. And now he's doing great for himself.
Yeah.
So... we're the most entertaining... he's super entertaining. And he does some of the greatest outreach programs for WWE. So it's like they hired a gem.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but Titus Worldwide, I thought was amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
It's worldwide and it's legit. But Parrow, who did you watch growing up? Well, not growing up, but when you got into business 2009, did your mentors tell you, oh, watch this guy, watch that guy? Because like if I was training you, I would be like, oh man, the way you move, watch Fit Finlay and how he's like how he's aggressive and stuff like that. I would tell you to watch Fit Finlay if you were just starting off.
Well, yes. Well, as you know, I was trained by Bubba and Devon.
Yes.
So Bubba and Devon have one of the hardest training programs in the world. They're tough on you because they expect a lot out of their athletes. They also don't blow smoke up your ass like many wrestling schools.
Yes.
So they tell you from day one, the odds of you making in the wrestling business are extremely slim.
Yes.
But we're going to give you the tools to succeed. We're going to give you the foundation you need to weather any storm. So these are guys that have endless amount of knowledge, and they probably hate that I say this. I actually chose them because I never thought they were good. I wanted to know how they made so much money being not that great of athletes.
That's
valid. Because I knew myself wasn't that great of an athlete. So I wanted to go, I always had this big belief system, like Michael Jordan doesn't know how to teach people to play basketball because he doesn't know why he was good.
Right. Wow.
So, but find people that had to bust their ass to get there. They know all the little secrets of the trade. They know all the little ups and downs, and they've weathered every storm. They know how to get over. And I wanted to find a person that has physically done it in three major companies. So I chose them for that reason, and they did not let me down. Devon all the time. Devon always jokes that I bump like Iron Mike Sharp. Just the way I bump. And he's like, you make fun, and everybody's like, oh, you're comparing him to Jobber. He's like, you mean the man that knew how to put over every person he ever wrestled? Because when you're starting out, you don't realize what this entails. He goes, he's probably one of the greatest workers you guys that think he's nothing, but he's fucking amazing. And he's like, he goes, his bumps look real. He goes, the problem with your bumps is you all look like lucha rolls. He goes, this is real, guys. He goes, attack the mat.
Yes, right.
He goes, Mike attacks the mat. And you know what I mean? With Bubba and Devon, they're like parents.
Yes.
And Devon's more of the, you hate this, he's more of the mom because he's more of the caring parent where when he found out about me, he brought me into the office and he asked me, am I gay? Because one of the students saw me at a gay bar with other wrestlers, by the way. And he pulled me in the office and he asked me, and I told him the truth. And he asked me, he goes, this is up to you, but I'm going to tell you my experience with it. And he goes, and I'm going to tell you the reality, and I'm going to tell you what it is because I care about you. And he's like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be open. I'm not saying that whatsoever. He goes, but this is also a business. And he goes, I don't know what it's like now, but I knew what it was like when I was there. So I can only give you my experiences. And then he goes, whatever decision you make, we will support it. And I was like, well, since I almost killed myself, I think I'm going to go with the open, the open athlete, because I'm not going back to where I couldn't get out of bed and I was so depressed and my life was falling apart. I'd rather just be happy.
Yes.
I go, so, but him being a parent, and then a lot of times is like the hardest one on us is always Bubba. Bubba gets a bad rap, but Bubba is an actual genius when it comes to psychology.
Bingo.
But he gets a bad rap, and it's because people don't understand Bubba. And trust me, if anybody could talk shit about Bubba, it would be me. He failed me on my evaluation 12 times.
Wow.
Because you need to take an evaluation to get into the advanced class, which is psychology, and and it's 48 moves, giving and taking them.
Whoa.
And it's about 40 minutes to get through it.
Whoa.
I did it perfectly 12 times, but he just didn't like it 12 times. Because he wanted to make it tough on me. Yeah. He wanted to see if I would quit and walk away when I was so close. But little does he know I don't quit. So
yeah.
Like, I always joke that I'm the black sheep of the family. Like, even when I got my first WWE trial, he's like, "They called you?"
Tough love.
Let me tell you, man, when I first met Bubba years ago as an extra, he came up to me, and I was very quiet and timid then. He came up to me, and he asked me, I didn't hear what he said. He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Oh, I'm here for a WWE trial." He said, "Your name?" And like, I was like so scared, like, oh man, I fucked up, whatever. Fast forward to when they came back to WWE and I was up on the main roster. It was the four of us, Titus O'Neil, me, and the Dudleys, and I was doing the driving because in WWE I did all the driving. I don't know how it is with you, but I like doing the driving. So these guys travel with me, and they were a joy to be with. The three of them would argue, like when we were doing matches, the three of them would argue about, I'm easygoing. I'm like, hey, I'll do this, I'll do X, Y, and Z. But those three guys would always argue and butt heads. So it was always funny to me. So I know how they operate. I know how Titus operates. So yeah, it's funny.
With me and Odinson, I'm the Bubba of the group, and he's Devon. He's always like, okay.
Okay, fine.
I'm very headstrong in what I like, and I have a distinct style of wrestling, and I like to get my way, and Odinson, which is funny because you would think Odinson's the more aggressive one, but he's the chill, like, laid back. He's like, okay. Let's talk. Let's breathe.
He's like a big teddy bear.
But especially in Japan, like Japan, they don't break from anything. Like they do, like it's like we have the best matches with Swam and Tsuji because we just don't get along.
Oh my goodness!
But our matches are amazing.
Yes.
But I think that's what makes our matches magical. It's like that we do have we're cordial. We all work together, but we're not like best friends. But it makes the matches good. And like, I'll just share one story. Is like he was telling me something, I started yelling at him, and I was like, "You go tell him in Japanese to go fuck himself." And he's like, Swam is a legend there, and his eyes lit up like I just like stabbed a baby or something. Like, and Otis is like, okay. You go over there down the hallway, Mike. I'm gonna talk to them. And we had an awesome match.
He eases the tension. I love that.
Oh no, I'm a very like intense person. Like, so I get it. Like I was trained by Bubba. I'm very Bubba.
Yeah.
Like,
God damn.
And it's not always. Bubba doesn't rub the people the right way all the time. Like, and I get that. But he's also extremely smart when it comes to wrestling psychology, and that's where my psychology of a match comes from. And when it deviates from logic, it really bugs me.
Right.
So, like, if it's something doesn't make sense to me, and it deviates from the logical point, I'm like, that makes no sense. Yeah. I'm like they always tell the story of the Honky-Tonk Band about why would you jump out of a ring? Is it on fire? And I always say this, it's like Bubba's like, why are you hitting the ropes and running past your opponent? Hit him.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, it's just little stuff. Like they're big. The Dudleys are big on little things.
Yeah.
They like every little thing they nitpick. And it's funny is because we're all like scolded, like we hate everything we do. We could have the best match and we're like, we'll nitpick it ourselves. The 3D guy will be out there just like, oh, that match was terrible. And it'll be like, bro, you just tore the house down. I'm like, no, did you just see that, man? I'm like, I didn't. I don't know, man. Like, it just didn't. It felt off. Like, I was mad at her match this weekend because I felt my intensity was down.
Oh my God, I doubt it.
Well, especially with the style that me and Otis do, we are pure intensity. Like, and people expect that from us. I'm like, you don't want to. People are paying to come see you. You don't want to not do what they're paying to see.
Where were you this weekend?
We had FIP for WWN.
Oh.
So that was our we were in Evolve for a very long time, and then we went back down to FIP because it's more conducive with our travel schedule to Japan.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, because we can't make a lot of the Evolve shows during the year now because of our tour schedule with All Japan. So it makes, and FIP runs every 2 months. Mm-hmm. So we just do FIP. It's where we started. So we have a very good home crowd feel to it too. So
you said you were trained by Devon and Bubba. Did they tell you to watch anyone in particular? I don't know if you mentioned.
The big men, like how to move, like Bradshaw. They told me to watch Bradshaw.
Yes.
They told me to watch.
No, you're right.
I have a list of so many people. Like, so Bubba is an encyclopedia of wrestling. So like he would give me every match. Go watch this match. Go watch this match. And I watch a shit ton of Memphis wrestling. I love Deep South Memphis wrestling. Yes. I love that. I love that style.
Yes.
It's my. I just think that's the. If you want to know what pro wrestling is, that's the birthplace of pro wrestling to me. The real like what we see as a product today on television is the Mid-South, your NWAs, your Memphis wrestling. That's your style that you see today on television. Mm-hmm. The characters, the larger than life personas. Yeah. Now you got the hybrid wrestling, which is like your New York style, which is like the high flying, everything. Which is very funny because a lot of the New Yorkers aren't high flying. It's more the LA kids.
Yes. Right.
Like the LA, but that's because the LA kids have such a lucha influence.
Yes.
That people don't understand, and like lucha wrestling is so different than actual pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like their psychology and logic is completely different. It's just like Japanese wrestling is very logical.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Japanese wrestling is extremely logical.
Yes.
Like what I love about Japanese wrestling. You can break up if your partner is being put in a submission hold, you can run in there. You have 4 seconds. Why would you just sit there?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Like the whole it's a tag team. Yeah. Don't leave your teammate to die.
Yeah.
Like
it's like logic.
That's why I like the Japanese style when it comes to tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I think they very much perfected it to make it make sense. Use the count. You can use the count. It's just like any other sport. Why wouldn't you use something to your advantage?
Hey, big man, they can do that lucha with you and fly in the air. I just know that you're going to swat them down like a bug or fly.
Me and Otis say this all the time. Those are our best matches we have, but you would be amazed how many little high-flying tag teams refuse to wrestle big tag teams.
Oh, wow. Come on.
Bro. Here's a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
AEW has all the same colored shirt.
Yeah.
Like, they're all the same style wrestlers. So every tag team has the same exact moveset.
That's true.
It's the same shirt, different colors.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So where's your big tag team that's going to swat them out of the air?
Yeah, man. I agree.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, WWE has a massive amount of big tag teams.
Yeah.
That don't have the Rey Mysterio type of tag teams.
Right.
Yes.
So, those are your flip sides. It's like, well, why can't you just have a mix?
You're right. Diversity.
Like, because that's what makes big men special? You know what makes little men special? Styles clash.
Yeah. I mean, it worked so great with the Rockers and the Hart Foundation back in the days,
Exactly. And yeah, I can't do a flip, but if we're wrestling LAX or we're wrestling Penta and Ray, it's going to be a hell of a match because they can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's outside of the box for both teams.
For example, someone like as singles, Ray and Brock, they're going to tell a beautiful story. To get Brock down, he's going to have to obviously post himself, I mean, chop him down drastic.
Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar is one of the best matches for a big man, little man.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you brought up Ray, but
there you
I'm a huge Brock Lesnar guy.
Yes.
Of course I would be because he had one of the greatest debuts in wrestling history.
He did.
Like the coolest music. Like if you're a teenager and Brock Lesnar was like, I remember going. He was at a Denny's I was at after a show. Him and Raven, and he ate like a gazillion stacks of like pancakes.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm gonna be this man one day. And he was. I was always like, wow, that. He's gonna kill Eddie Guerrero, and I'm like, and he did halfway through the match, and then Eddie started coming back, and I felt myself as a teenager cheering for Eddie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm like, I like Brock, but why am I want to see Eddie win now?
Yeah.
And that's what those stories do. Is you might be into one guy,
right?
But you like Rey Mysterio 101. Like he gets beat up and comes back, and you're just like, damn. And also, he doesn't age, so I'm pretty sure Ray's a vampire, so he might be cheating.
A little bit.
He literally doesn't age.
He's got some magic juju in there somewhere.
Somebody needs it, I don't know, because that man's been wrestling for 40 years?
Yeah.
Apparently? I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It's all those lucha guys.
I know.
Those lucha guys, lucha and Japanese guys, they wrestle till they're 104. I was like, meanwhile, us Americans are 4 years in, we're like, oh man,
time to retire.
This was a bad idea.
But Parrow, you talk like that. I want to ask you, what are your workouts like in the gym? How do you structure your workouts with what you do in the ring? How do you move? What kind of training do you like?
Well, so I do my normal workout. I'll give you a normal day, a normal week. So I will get up and I will do about an hour of the Stairmaster or the elliptical.
Nice.
And then I'll do my normal bodybuilding workout. The focus on muscle groups. Then I added CrossFit. I added CrossFit because this is not a big man game anymore. There's no such thing as a lumbering big man. Mm-hmm. I can't get blown up in the ring. My job is to be able to go their speed, not them go my speed. Right. The game has changed, but I'm not angry at that because other sports have done that. Football is a faster, quicker, smaller sport. There's not a lot of big men. There's a couple, but a lot of the skilled positions now are much more lean, athletic, quicker. The game has gone at a faster pace. So, like any other sport, wrestling adjusts just like the eras do. So I added CrossFit to my workout. When I first added it, I was like, oh, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. Then I saw it really did help me out with my cardio in the ring.
Good.
Because it's a very functional workout with, weights and cardio at the same time. Now in the ring, I try to always work with somebody that is quicker, smaller, and do moves that I normally wouldn't do. So I have them in my arsenal per se to use because I never like to not. Bubba always said, there should be never excuse that you can't work anybody.
Yes.
Be able to work everybody. Be indispensable. So I'm lucky because Orlando is Wrestling Hollywood. So there's always somebody from either the Performance Center or Impact or ROH or somebody around here that wants to step in the ring and just work on some new stuff. And, and I'm lucky to have that here. So, and there's a couple schools around that we get to use the ring and bump around in. So I usually try to get in there in the ring about twice a week to 3 times. The past couple weeks I couldn't because of due to my injury, but that's my normal routine for a week. Is about 3 times to 2 times a week I'll get in some kind of ring, and getting like 40 minutes worth of rolling around, and just trying something new. Nice. Because wrestling is one of those things like you constantly need to keep your body toned up to it, because if you don't, you're gonna hurt a lot. Yeah. Like so I like to stay always ready for any opportunity that comes my way. Some they might not, but I don't want to be. I never want to have that to be excuse that I wasn't ready. Right.
Exactly, big man. Exactly.
That's a great mentality to have.
A plethora of knowledge, Arnold.
Yeah. So true, man.
Well, wrestling's one of those things you just never know. I was told that I would never be able to do anything in this business. I'd probably only make one independent show and it'd be over. The first 5 years of wrestling, I did comedy wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a giant 5-year-old. I came out with a guy in a bear outfit as my security guard.
No way.
Yeah, and I remember everybody telling me that would never get over. Flash forward, Cody comes out with a bear, and I'm like, "Yep, see, told you, it works."
And also, there's a boy with this dinosaur, so anything goes.
It's wrestling. Just tell them that it's cool. They'll like it.
Tell them it's cool.
But I'm always, like, everybody always thinks because of my style now that I hate comedy wrestling. I'm like, I actually super enjoy comedy wrestling. Like, one of my favorite matches during WrestleMania weekend was Sessions Mothra and Orange Cassidy in this tag match, and me and Odinson were losing our mind. They were slow dancing, and we're like, why do we like this? And why is this hilarious? And I'm like, and it was just so good, and the crowd was so into it because they were so opposite of what was going on. Right. And the match was designed that way. And so it's one of those things, it's like, never criticize. I hate when people criticize certain types of wrestling because wrestling is for everybody. You might not like it, but there's a reason there's TV networks and TV shows. There's not one TV show that everybody watches. Absolutely. So wrestling has to have different styles, different people, different personalities, and different shows. I go because not everybody likes the same thing.
Did you ever watch that footage of Kenny Omega wrestling this Asian little girl, and he was like putting her over big time?
Yeah, because Kenny loves comedy wrestling.
Yeah.
D&D. Like, I remember Effie wrestling that Izzy girl, and he chokeslammed her, and the internet lost their mind. And I'm like, he didn't slam her. He didn't cane chokeslam her. Which means chokeslam is like, I do Kane's chokeslam. Let me tell you, that chokeslam is legit. Like Kane's chokeslam, he just like, you're gonna die on that chokeslam. I was like, everybody's like talks about Taker's chokeslam. I'm like, but look at Kane's. Kane just throws you through the mat. It's like,
you gotta say a prayer on the way down.
Yeah, you done. Like, well, to be fair, the chokeslam was Kane's finish. So,
yeah, that's true.
And the chokeslam for the Undertaker was a setup to his tombstone. True. But it's still, I love Kane's chokeslam, and Odinson always like after I do, he goes, "Did he owe you money, bro?" did he owe you money? That poor kid. Right. I'm just like. That's why me and Lance Hoyt go back and forth with our choke slams. And that's the joke. That's the joke. Who does the better Kane choke slam with us? Oh my god! Wow. But he's like 6'7", so Lance got like 2 inches on me, 3 inches on me.
Yeah, they'll make a difference for sure.
Man, god dang, you are like a plethora of knowledge. I'm just this whole experience, being able to vibe with you was incredible, bro. I mean, so much knowledge here. Jesus, man. I mean, I think we can keep going on and on, but I know you probably got to make moves. You just got out of the gym and all that stuff. I mean,
I actually have to go to CrossFit.
There you go. There
goodness,
you go.
goodness.
On that grind.
Goodness, but like, what's on a lasting impression on pro wrestling? What's like maybe the best piece of advice anyone in the business trying to that you can smarten them up about us or anyone looking to get in the business? What's your final message that you want to leave with your audience?
Always remember it's your dream. It's nobody else's. They don't see what you see in your head. So never let anybody tell you you can't do it, because it's your dream, not theirs. And one of the most important things, especially in this business, never chase somebody else's success because they've already accomplished that. You'll always be chasing your whole career. Yes. Focus on you and do what's good for you. Don't be jealous if somebody else gets hired because they could get fired tomorrow.
God dang it.
That's
man.
beautiful.
I mean, I got goosebumps. I swear to God, man. On my grandmother's grave. Several times in this podcast, I got goosebumps with a lot of the stuff that you were saying, man. So I just want to let you know that.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm a talker, so.
I love that, man.
It's the offensive lineman in me.
I know. I've seen it firsthand, so I'm glad I was able to have you on, have you share your story. I always say, don't die with a story and you tell it. So, I mean, Parrow, keep making moves, man. Thank you for being on Pro and Bro Wrestling.
Thank you so much, bro. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope to step in the ring with you.
Oh, goodness.
Stop dodging me.
Yeah, big man. Oh, man, it would be a bucket list, honestly, a bucket list of mine. Again, we'll talk more because I've wrestled all over the world. I've never wrestled in Japan, man. I never...
Oh, you would love Japan. You would love Japan.
I would love to...
It's a very special place.
I would love to experience it, so hopefully someday before it's all said and done for me, hopefully someday I can experience it. So we'll definitely talk more, but if not, not being able to experience it in Japan with you, maybe somewhere in the States, man. Oh, man, it definitely is a bucket list of mine, hand to God.
Oh, well, thank you, and I hope to step in the ring with you soon.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for having me on the podcast, gentlemen.
No, thank you. Take
care.
Thank you,
bro.
You too.
This is episode 24. So much information.
And you guys really have to...
Several times I got goosebumps. I'm sorry, damn it, I'm cutting you off, but I'm speaking from the heart.
Yeah,
Man.
Go for it.
But no, keep going.
I was gonna say, if you guys haven't seen it, you guys have to check his documentary. I'll link it down in the description box below. He's such a great human being. Not only that dude has gone through some tough times. Rough times in his past, with the struggles about coming out and, not being happy with his sexuality and having to hide that from, the rest of the world.
Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Continue.
Yeah, but he overcame that, and now he's living his best life genuinely as his full self, which is what I always want everyone to do, to live their life being them, So
and Arnold, I was hoping he would call me out, and he did, so I'm glad he called me out. So now, from this, I can have a rebuttal and maybe put it out there that he called me out. So.
Who's that supposed to be?
Huh? I'm a little nervous, I mean, I'm just nervous.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, 6'4", 300
oh my
pounds,
God,
but I think I can go.
Yeah.
I think I can go, man.
Yeah, that'd be a match. That'd be a main event match.
He called me out, so I think I need to have a rebuttal.
I think so too. I think that needs to go down. If when you guys have your match, and like how WWE does it, where they do a little back package of how this happened.
Yes.
This footage needs to be needs to be played.
Yes. But so much information. This is from bell to bell.
Yeah.
This was a lot of information.
And this is one of those interviews where I just wanted to sit back and just let him do all the talking, because he got all his points across. No one needed to navigate him. He's such a great guy, and what a story to tell. And trust me, guys,
you didn't notice I kicked the camera, so
I did a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
I vision.
Sorry, I'm just moving around.
As amazing as the stories that he told on this podcast was, there's so much more to him. And again, his documentary, touch on things that we didn't even touch on in this podcast. Just really heavy and emotional, but at the same time, inspiring things. So make sure you guys check that out. It's crazy.
Wow, man. I mean, jeez. Parrow. What else is there next?
What are you talking about, like topic wise?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just
got?
came back from the weekend of Clash of the Champions. Disclaimer: I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either because my god babies turned 6, so I was playing with them and roughing them up.
Yeah, but a lot of things happened that people were happy about, and some people were definitely not happy about. But at the same time, what else is new? That's almost every show, half and half. The Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins match.
People were hot over that.
For one, they thought
they're not going to take Braun seriously if they don't give him the strap. You can't push him and then just yank it back. But again, you got to have time. Maybe time will tell. But
sometimes time will kill you though.
Yeah.
Because people get lucky sometimes. Like Bray Wyatt is able to reinvent himself, but there's if you keep on losing all the time, over time, even your hardcore fans will lose faith in you.
Yeah, I agree.
So you gotta pull that trigger sometimes, and it's fine that Seth Rollins went over because I agree that he's the company guy, and he's the face of Raw and WWE. But at the same time, they should have made Braun lose in a way that still keeps him strong. He lost clean, and now how are fans gonna be invested in him when he goes one-on-one against anyone else, like a Brock Lesnar or a Samoa Joe, they can't have faith in him anymore.
Yeah, been there, done that.
And and as sad as it is, there's so many things that happened that WWE didn't want to happen. For one, the fans started turning on Seth.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, just the fact that they thought it was, not my words, but just the fact that they thought the match was boring with Braun, and the only thing that saved it was the Fiend at the end of the match. That was, to everyone from what I've seen online, that was everyone's favorite part of the match, was that. The Fiend showing up, and now the Fiend against Seth Rollins for Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be an epic match. That match is there's no way that match can't be epic. It's going to be epic because of both talented guys. But again, man.
But there's a toss-up between if Bray, wins. If Bray wins.
What?
Well, he has to win, basically.
Yeah, he has to win.
He has to win the championship
for
him to be taken seriously, bottom line.
Yeah, because the whole reason why Bray reinvented himself was because people lost faith in him because he kept on losing. He would have all these awesome promos, and Bray would always kill it because he's Bray and he's a genius, and he can carry himself. But the things that he's not able to control, which is the creative and all that. That's why he suffered, and he has all this momentum now. Like he has to win, and he needs to have a good reign as champion. Right? They need to keep him. I hate using that word, but that term. But they need to keep him strong and treat him like the heel Undertaker.
Yeah, sure. Maybe down the line, Strowman can chase him.
Yeah, and in the meantime, keep Strowman and Bray apart.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that until Braun gets his momentum back and Braun wins a world championship.
Sure.
Because those are two stars that you guys need to protect in WWE right now. There's so much money in them.
Maybe WrestleMania. I mean, that'd be a great place to have Strowman.
Yeah.
Strowman, Bray. And
at the same time, I know where my place is. Who am I to give WWE advice? Because obviously I'm not a writer or creative or anything like that. But just as a fan, I feel like sometimes WWE needs to listen when momentums are going down and don't try to push it so much. Right now, as sad as it is, people are bored of Kofi. They're over it. Kofi will always be an amazing talent. He'll always be an asset to the company. But give him a break right now, and then have him do something else that's also important, and then give him back the championship again. But right now, all you're doing is hurting him. When he beat Randy Orton clean, everyone hated that.
Yeah, I see.
I was reading the comments, and everyone was Randy should have won. Boring. As sad as it is, you gotta. You shouldn't cater to the fans all the time because then they'll run the show for you. But at the same time, you have to know when the momentum needs to be reignited.
Sure.
And right now, like, it needs to be reignited. So give Kofi more obstacles to overcome, like take the championship off of him and build him back up again.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
It's true, man.
I agree.
I'm not saying like don't put Kofi in the spotlight ever again, but just like right now he's plateaued.
Yeah, I agree. Have that roller coaster ride. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know? Again, I hate to say, I hate to have New Day turn on him and then have him lose a title, but that's...
how exciting would that be, though?
Oh, if New Day turned on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be... Because people, they've been together a long time, you know, and people don't want to see them break up, and that would be...
But at the same time, like, looking at it, like, long-term wise, it'll still be okay, because think of how many times... the Shield turn on each other.
Yeah, sure.
But then, like, when they come back together, like, they forget about all that. And it's like, oh, they're back. They're brothers for life. Through the good and bad. Brothers fight anyways. Like, it's just life. You lose, like, you know, like, friendships sometimes, but the true ones always come back. So they can do that.
Yeah, that's like Titus and I when we had our moment.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Man.
Goodness.
So I feel like if they do that, like that'll be a hot storyline.
But
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sorry to talk about Braun and Seth and Bray. I can see it happening where hopefully Bray wins. He keeps the title, and you know Bray and Braun are good friends.
Yes,
you know, so Bray just getting the title for the first time is a win-win for him. Yeah. But him to be able to lose to his the godfather of his child. Yeah. I mean, Bray's gonna do it because why? Bray's a nice guy.
Right, of course.
He tackled me on the floor when I came back. So that's he would be happy to lose the title there. So Bray's gotta win and Bray's gotta lose it to his and that's the story.
But before he loses it to Braun, I want him to retain it against Brock Lesnar. I want him to retain it against Samoa Joe.
Oh, goodness.
Against, like, Roman Reigns. Like, he needs to be believable.
Wow.
And then, so when he loses to Braun, it means something.
Okay, you're right. Well, that's WrestleMania is around the corner, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like, that won't happen then. So, well, I'd love to see Bray and Brock, man. Yeah. Wow, there's so many possibilities.
They almost did that. You know that?
Oh.
They were pushing Bray. There was a part where...
when he was old Bray?
Old Bray.
Oh, I'm talking about the new and improved.
No, me too. But I'm saying, like, in the past, they almost pushed that storyline where Brock got attacked by the Wyatt family.
Oh, okay.
And they all that would have been a WrestleMania storyline. But then I don't know, they exchanged it with Dean Ambrose and Brock. But anyways, I'm glad that didn't happen because Brock would have went over. And then again, another WrestleMania loss for Bray, you know.
Yeah.
But I know Bray has been the WWE champion before, but again, he should have retained it at WrestleMania, made that count. But at least it's in the books for Bray. Yeah. He was at the top of the mountain. Yeah. But this would definitely mean more if he becomes the Universal Champion as The Fiend. And I think it's smart that WWE is keeping him off of weekly television so it keeps the fans guessing when they show up. But you know what's weird? I think it was SmackDown or Raw, but Bray had a dark match.
Oh, he did?
After, like, SmackDown went off the air, he wrestled as the Fiend.
Yeah, well, they always do that. They always have, like, a little dark match.
I know,
just to
but
see how the crowd reacts to it.
I guess, I guess.
But why?
But the Fiend, though, like I wouldn't like put him in a dark match. You know, I don't know, because like I don't think they need to know how the crowd reacts based off of SummerSlam. But I mean, I guess it's nice for the fans, right, to give them a treat.
Sure. For
that city.
Sure. SmackDown is going to Fox, so that's going to be a big deal.
I know.
Again, that'll be a last minute decision for us, right?
I found out some news. I won't be able. I won't be able to attend. But yeah.
Can you elaborate? Where are you going on?
No, I can't. Not at the moment. Nothing's confirmed.
Okay, well, I guess I'll be going with the owner of Headquarters Clothing.
Yeah, man, it'll be great.
Oh, it'll be great, huh? No, it'll be great, Pedro.
Yeah.
I always take care of you. It'll be great.
But exciting because that's gonna be a good show. Trish Stratus is set to be there.
Okay.
Like other like legends and veterans too.
No.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great show. You know who should be there is The Rock.
Yeah, what the hell?
He was there. I don't know if he is. It might be a
LA.
surprise.
Yeah, it's LA. Why not? They just flying right in on his jet.
Yeah.
Man, that is so funny. Well, you can either keep this in or take it out.
I'll keep it in, man.
But this has been heavy podcast, man.
Yeah, it's great content, man. So much content.
I don't know if you want to keep going in, but this is heavy.
Well, yeah, I mean, since we didn't really fully watch the show, I mean, I just want to comment on that. The Fiend situation, Seth Rollins and Kofi, I think those are, but also amazing stuff happened, like Revival winning the SmackDown Championship.
I saw.
That's awesome because now they have won the NXT, Raw, and SmackDown Triple Crown Tag Team Champions.
Yes, making history.
Dolph and Rude also did a great match. Everyone enjoyed that match as the opener, you know, and I think they have great chemistry, and maybe keep them together for a while and have them wrestle other tag teams that need to have the spotlight. What else happened?
Luke and Harper are back. Harper and Eric Rowan are back.
Yes, and maybe keep the name Bludgeon Brothers with them. I like that. Not necessarily. It's okay if they don't have the full gimmick with the matching stuff, but like keep them as the Bludgeon Brothers. I think that's cool.
They got to win over Roman, huh?
Yeah, which is great because again, fans are cheering Roman, and it's like not guaranteed every time Roman wrestles that he wins. I think that's really cool.
Yes.
And I think now the fans are legitimately 100% behind Roman the way WWE wants them to be because they booked them right the way they should have booked them in the first place instead of suffering succotash.
But I read some dumb shit on the internet, or it came up on my feed about people thinking that leukemia was. Yeah,
I saw that too.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's sad, man. I don't think any human being, let alone Roman Reigns or WWE, is that savage to fake a serious matter like that.
Keep it moving.
Right?
Disgusting.
What else, man? Also. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, everyone loved that. Yes. Great match. I haven't seen it, but from what I heard, people felt that this gave both of them and also Becky Lynch their momentum back. Sasha Banks has always had that momentum, so that never left. But people thought that Becky Lynch lost it because right away after WrestleMania, she went on a storyline against Lacey Evans, who a lot of people believe are not ready for a main event World Championship storyline. So it kind of went, and like the whole love team with Seth Rollins, everyone's like, that's corny. Like, it was cool when it's behind the scenes and they don't talk about it and they would like do certain scenes of them just passing by each other. That was cool. But just having them like labeled as like, they're together, guys. They're together. Top two champs together. That's lame.
Hey, you said it. I mean, I could take it or leave it, man.
But again,
I love it, but
everyone.
You're the professor and you're being aggressive now.
But that match with Sasha, a lot of people love, and I think it's great with the whole 4 horsewomen just working with each other and putting everyone over like that. It's really, really great, and I enjoy babyface Charlotte. As great as she is as a heel, like she's just like her dad. Oh, okay, not just one last note. And not to go into like negative street here, but you heard about the whole Ric Flair thing, right?
No, I didn't. Honestly,
okay, so Rick's in bad terms with WWE right now.
Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And
he's going to AEW now.
And
he's going to bust himself open.
Drop his blazer.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's going to do it because that's a no-no. He can't be bumping around now. And Bob Backlund, when he was with me, when he hit his head, he couldn't bump anymore.
Oh, jeez.
No.
And also, from what I heard last, is that he's also not in the best of terms with Charlotte as well, because this is what happened. So Rick has always had trademarked the man, and to be the man, you got to beat the man. And WWE, of course, like he's fully okay with Becky Lynch using that. Fully okay with WWE using that for Becky Lynch. But since he trademarked it, he just wants a percentage of all the merch sales, which is fair. That is legal. That's the law, right? Like WWE owes him that. But according to him, WWE hasn't paid him. Triple H doesn't respond to him anymore. So he's suing WWE right now. He's suing WWE, and also this is on TMZ because he did an interview with TMZ. He said that Charlotte is mad at him for suing WWE and having an issue with Becky Lynch, who's her best friend, using the man. And he's just like, I don't have an issue with Becky using the man. She can use that forever. Till forever. I don't care. I just want my percentage. Since it's trademarked, I just want my percentage. And WWE is not giving that to me.
Well, I'm sure he's on Ric Flair's on a Legends deal. I'm sure he's still being compensated by WWE. But yeah, I mean, he's right. Give a dog a bone.
Yeah, I think it's only if that's legal.
My man's got bills to pay.
Yeah,
he's got big bills to pay.
Yeah, man.
And
so that's what's going on. It's crazy.
AEW, here he comes.
Oh man, imagine.
But yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, watch a TMZ interview. Like he spoke like fully about that with TMZ. It's really interesting.
I mean, I always say when people ask me, "What do you think of the deal between WWE and Saudi?" I say, apparently the deal's 10 million, 10 years, $450 million. So
yeah.
I mean.
You just give them facts.
Huh?
You just give them facts.
Well, the money's there.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Speaks for itself.
Come on, pay a brother.
But yeah, I feel that's a full load episode, huh?
Oh, fully loaded, like the old school pay-per-view, right?
Fully loaded, yeah. And I think Sable was on the cover or something like that, right?
Yeah,
back in the day.
something.
I remember.
Puppies and
oh yeah,
and all that other craziness.
That should have been Jerry Lawler's merch instead of Deborah's. Please.
Oh yes, but fully loaded episode of From Bro Wrestling, episode 24 in the can. We are making moves, brother.
In the books. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and another thank you to Mike Parrow for being a guest. Man, what a amazing story! What a even more amazing human being. And yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned till next week for another episode. And until then,
block the hate, salute the great.